After World War II, Australia's migration policy was based on the concept of repopulating the nation after the losses from conflict. Populate or perish was the idea that Australia would be easily invaded if it didn't have a big enough population to defend its shores. In the post-World War years, new migrants also provided much needed labour and human capital to rebuild and improve the nation's infrastructure. Migrants had traditionally been sourced from Britain, in alignment with the White Australia policy. However, after World War II, Australia opened its borders to a broader spectrum of European migrants. Immigration Minister at the time, Arthur Calwell, stated, "Australia wants and will welcome new healthy citizens who are determined to become good Australians. Apart from British migration, the door is always open within the limits of our existing legislation to people from various dominions, the United States of America, and from European continental countries. The Australian people must welcome newcomers to become assimilated." New migrants to Australia were mainly allocated to rural areas and were not always made to feel welcome. Differences often attracted attention and ridicule. Even someone wanting a different type of sandwich could be so strange that it featured in a local newspaper story. Many migrants readily accepted the idea of assimilation, though they were not always aware of the costs in terms of loss of their own culture, their language, and other traditional aspects of their life, such as food, music, and clothing. A popular form of migrant to Australia after World War II was the child migrant. The Australian government aimed to seek out 50,000 British and European child migrants in the first 3 post-war years. Child migrants were popular because they were seen to assimilate into society more easily, had a long working capacity, and could be housed easily. Children, once they arrived in Australia, were institutionalised and placed in the care of charitable agencies or Christian religious orders. Many of the child migrants were abused by agencies whose care they were under and found Australia to be a different place to the one they had been promised. One British migrant describes how Australia was sold to him. "I'd been at the new home for less than a year when we heard on the British Home Service for schools about migrants being wanted to help populate Australia, a place I hadn't heard of before. One day, an official in the form of a Christian brother talked to us of the wonders of Australia, where there was plenty of food and sunshine. We could go horse riding and be taught new skills like shearing sheep and driving tractors, all being done after school and at weekends." In 2009, Prime Minister Kevin Rudd apologised to child migrants who were abused in the post-war years by the institutions charged with being their caretakers. The apology
Created using Powtoon.